secure and not leaking, make sure your gas cap is on and that's secure, and make sure you have fuel in the thing. Okay? As you get a shot of them crossover lines, you want me to shine a light on it. Okay. These are your fuel crossover lines. You make sure that they are secure and make sure they're not leaking in your walk around when you're checking the gas tank. Okay?
Okay.
Alright. Okay. Now we come to our exhaust system. Alright? Now, first thing we check for is any missing, loose, or broken tailpipes, exhaust pipes, muffler, or vertical stacks. Okay? Then we're checking for any missing, loose, or broken U-bolts, mounting brackets, clamps, and nuts or bolts. Quiet on the set here, you know. Okay? So, missing, loose, or broken exhaust pipes, tail pipes, mufflers, or vertical stacks. Check for any missing, loose, or broken mounting brackets, U-bolts, clamps, or nuts or bolts. You check for any exhaust system parts that leak, any holes where, you know, gas can leak out, fumes. And the last thing you check is that there, for any fuel system or exhaust system parts rubbing against hoses, tires, wires, or anything like that, where the heat from the exhaust system can damage them. Okay, so that's the last thing you check. You don't want any parts of the truck rubbing up against the exhaust system parts. Okay. Next we move down the body of the truck. Once again, we start at the top, work our way down. That way you're less apt to forget something. Right at the very top, we check our side marker lights. We make sure that they're working, that they're clean and the proper color. We check our side reflectors, make sure they're clean and the proper color. We check our frame. We check for any damage, bends or cracks, holes in it, any kind of damage at all. Check the frame. Next, we check our drive shaft. There again, we're checking for damage, bends, cracks. We check our couplers. We make sure that they're secure. We make sure there's no foreign objects in the coupler that can fly off. And that's all we check for. Okay? Now we move to the rear duals. Now, once again, most of them will accept, you check everything on the rear tires as you do on the front. They'll accept that. You just add to what you check for on the duals. You add to that, that's all. And they'll accept that, rather than go through the whole spiel all over again. So we check the outside and the inside of the rim on each wheel. You check the outside and the inside of the tire on each wheel. Okay, that's very important because a fella flunked because he didn't do that. All right, now, in addition to all the stuff we mentioned that we check on the front rim, we check the rear rim for seal leaks. Okay, this is your rear seal. You check that that's not leaking. Axle fluid. Okay. All right. Now, the rear tires, as we said before, they need a minimum of 2/32 tread depth to be legal. So you check the rear tires for that. Then you check the tires for everything that you checked on the front. Okay. Next thing, you probably see it better from this side, Steve. Can you see that in there? Where's the light? Alright. See that corrugated thing in there?
Mm-hmm.
That's your spacer. You check for a missing, bent, or broken spacer. You make sure that the spacer is separating the dual tires evenly. Alright? Then you make sure that your dual tires aren't rubbing together, that they're evenly separated, and you make sure that there isn't some kind of foreign object stuck between them, like a rock or a bottle or something that can fly out of there and hit somebody, hurt somebody, all right? Okay, and don't forget, we check the outside and the inside of each rim on each wheel. We check the outside and the inside of each tire on each wheel, okay? Okay. And then everything else is the same way you checked it on the front tires. You know, the valve stem, the tread separation, bulges, cuts, and tears, etc., right? Most of the examiners will accept that. If they don't, you're just going to have to go through the whole spiel all over again, that's all.
Okay.
All right. Next thing we check back here is our brake system. Now you might be able to see the brake system better on the wheel over there. So once again, we check our drum. That's right next to the wheel, on the inside of the wheel. I don't know, can you see that, Steve, or not?
Yeah, I know it. Yeah, you can see it.
All right. Okay, we check our drum for cracks and other damage. Once again, mention that we can't check the lining because we'd have to pull the whole wheel, both wheels back here. All right, now, see that canister there?
Mm-hmm.
That's your brake chamber. So, as on the front, you check your brake chamber that it's secure and not damaged or leaking.
Ken Cheney, shop office, Kenny.
Okay, next we check our air hoses, our brake air hoses. We check them for wear and tear and for leaks. And the last thing is our slack adjuster. Right where the light's shining, that's our slack adjuster, and we check it the same way. Park on level ground, chock the wheels, release the parking brake, pull on the slack adjuster. If you get more than an inch play, you have to adjust the brakes with the adjusting nut right where the light is shining.
Okay.
Now, believe me, once again, the examiner isn't going to have you crawl under there.
Mm-hmm.
But just point and touch the best you can and explain what you're doing so he knows that you know what you're talking about, okay?
Okay.
All right. Check everything that you did on the front, except in the rear we don't have any shock absorbers. And we, in addition to the other stuff we check, we have to check our auxiliary springs, which is here and here. We check them for damage, for broken springs, missing springs, same thing. If one of them's broke, you can still drive the truck providing it hasn't shifted position and is hitting a tire or something, okay? If a quarter of them are missing, you can't drive the truck. But you must check your auxiliary springs in the rear in addition to the other stuff that we checked on the suspension system in the front. You know, our spring hangers, our clamps, our U-bolts, etc. Okay? That's our suspension system. Once again, start at the top, work our way down, then we're less apt to forget something, okay? The red lights at the very top, the three of them that are together in the middle are your identification lights. Make sure they're working, clean, and the proper color. Coming down, we check our tail lights and our brake lights, that they're clean, that they're working, clean, and the proper color. Now I'm going to press on the brakes so you can see which ones are the brake lights and which ones are just the tail lights.